Hi, this is James Valvis, and I'm going to be reading a short story this weekend called The Bus Stop President. Although on several drafts I have it listed as Dan the Bus Stop President, so I don't remember which one I published it under. I do remember where I published it. It was Pearl Magazine, about 7 or 8 years ago, and it was a wonderful journal that went defunct 2 or 3 years back. That was edited by Joan Joe Smith, Marilyn Hoke, and no, I take that back. Barbara Hoke and Marilyn Johnson, and they were three wonderful ladies who were terrific writers themselves, and they produced a terrific looking journal. Just wonderful glossy covers and very artistic, and it was filled with lots of great material. Uh, Marilyn Johnson died recently, and so they folded the journal, and that was very sad. Um, so, God bless her, and I hope that her family is finding some peace over that. Anyway, this story was 1,100 words long, so it's a mouthful. So forgive me if I stumble over something here or there. I've already gone through it twice, so I don't want to go through it again. The but it's based on real events, but not. It's been fictionalized. So Dan is a real person. In fact, his name was Dan. And the main character is based on me, and then there's my daughter. Um, but it's fictionalized. I never threw, never hit anybody or anything like that. I'm a civilized man. I don't do those things. But anyway, here's the story, and I hope you like it. The Bus Stop President. It's 7 in the morning on picture day, and Dan is running for bus stop president. He's cornered the new couple and their kindergartner. They look scared, but they're also annoyed. Dan has moved in on them. This is their first day at the bus stop, a family event, and they thought it would just be the three of them. Dan has to shake everyone's hand. Dan has to know everyone's name. I know Dan's name because Dan has been doing this to me for months. Years, in fact. Asking my name, asking about me, talking, talking, talking. For a long time, I wouldn't tell him my name. I just shrugged like a deaf mute and said nothing. He knew I wasn't a deaf mute, though, because I talked to my daughter. I kissed her when the bus came and said goodbye. So Dan bided his time, and sure enough, the day came when I was sick, and my wife took our daughter to the bus, and Dan asked her my name. So now he knows it. Dan is glad-handing the couple now. Dan is 6 foot something, and his hair is sparse and gray. There's no getting around it. He's spooky. And goofy looking, too. He looks like every B-movie child molester you've ever seen. Just ugly enough to be disarming. Just odd enough to be creepy. The couple don't know what to do. They're Hispanic. They don't speak the language well. The father holds a digital camera, but he hasn't taken a picture. The mother, a short woman with hair pulled back so tight it must hurt, holds her squat, dark-eyed boy close to her with both small hands. Dan keeps talking. Dan's winning them over. Dan is making friends and influencing parents. Dan believes in persistence, and he believes in Jesus Christ, and he believes in being everyone's friend. He's told me all this in the short space of time it takes to walk up to our condos. I live close to the bus stop, and he lives further away. We're together no more than 3 minutes a morning. And he does all the talking, and you can learn a lot about a man in 3 minutes over a couple of school years. Dan thinks he knows a lot about me, too. For instance, once I bought a new pair of sneakers, and he remarked on them. "Hey, Pete, new sneakers, I see." What kind of man notices another man's footwear? No, Dan's not gay. Dan is straight. He told me this one day. "In case you were wondering," he said. "I wasn't," I told him, trotting to my condo door. "Nice talking to you," he yelled after me. He's lonely, I guess. I'm not sure why. I talked to his wife at the condo's pool. She's a nice lady. Pretty, too. A lot prettier than you'd expect a guy like Dan could get. From what I gathered from Dan's 3-minute daily confessions to me, Dan's a stay-at-home dad, and his wife goes to work. Dan has some illness that prevents him from working. As a stay-at-home dad, Dan doesn't feel very manly. Dan wishes things were different. The new guy, with his new kid, takes the camera, steps back, and snaps a picture. But I can see the little screen. It has a big corner of Dan in it. The man's shoulders slump. He looks at his wife. His wife looks at him. The kid is looking at Dan, scared out of his wits. Dan's kid is a boy, a year younger than my daughter. All this time, Dan is running for bus stop president. This kid is running around the condo's flower garden. He's picking up rocks and chucking them. He's tossing fallen leaves at my daughter. He's grabbing his crotch and yelling like Michael Jackson used to grab his crotch and yell. Sometimes Dan looks at his son and tells the boy, "Come on, buddy." The boy's name isn't Buddy, it's William. But that's the way Dan looks at the world. Everyone's his buddy, even his son. When Dan isn't running for bus stop president, he's probably running for living room president, and supermarket checkout line president, and doctor's waiting room president. The kid doesn't listen to a word Dan says, but the couple use the distraction to move away from Dan, and Dan is left talking to the bar waitress and her daughter, Violet. You can see Violet cringe by this development and bury her head into her mother's stomach. It's then that William kicks a whole foot's worth of dirt onto my daughter's white dress she's wearing for picture day. Dan doesn't see it. Dan's busy talking to Violet's mother. My daughter starts crying. That's it, I think. I don't go after William. I go after Dan. I'm shorter than he is, but I lift. I run 5 miles a day. I don't have a mysterious illness that stops me from working. I grab him by his shirt and swing him against a tree. Dan doesn't know what's happening. His eyes are wide. There's real panic in them. Nobody does this to Dan. Everybody, he's certain, loves him. He's never even heard me speak more than grunts. Now he does. Either you do something about that kid of yours, or I will. Who, buddy? What's happened? I'm not your buddy, I say, twisting his shirt harder. I'm not your friend. I'm not anything to you. So you get control of that boy of yours, or else. You hear me? Or else. What'd he do? I want to make this right. What'd he do? Let me make this right. I don't answer. I give him a final shove and let him go. He stumbles back a step. Then I grab my daughter's hand and march her back to the condo. We get her in different clothes, ones that aren't nearly as nice as the white dress, and I put her in the old Honda and drive her to school myself. As I drop her off, I realize there's nothing I can do about her eyes being puffy from crying. The next day we're at the bus stop. The waitress is there, the new couple, and my daughter and I. Dan and William aren't there. Everyone's in a good mood. The waitress tells me to come to her bar for a free beer any time. The new couple asks me to take a picture of their family. My daughter is holding my hand. It's like there's been a revolution, and I'm the new president. This is James Valvis, reading his story, The Bus Stop President. Hope you liked it. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And thanks so much for listening, and God bless.